Hello everyone, welcome to CollectioNeo. I'm your host, Alex, and in my last video, which was First Figures Mugen, I said I'd had two packages, and this is the other one. This is Tekken 5 Jin, which is the exclusive version by First Figures, quarter scale statue. Now, if you didn't watch my King video, go over there, check out the first probably about 25 minutes of me just talking about Tekken. No, it's not bad. But I go on about Tekken and what it means to me and all that sort of stuff. And if you don't know, I'm a huge fighting game fan. I've been playing fighting games since I was a kid. As a huge Neo Geo fan, which I've owned arcade machines and MVSs and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, had CPS2s, Thomas Waves and Naomi Cat and all that. All that, I was, well into the fighting game scene and arcade in general. And one of my favourites, probably my favourite actually, 3D fighting game has always been Tekken. So this is Jin. If you don't know, Jin was introduced in Tekken 3. He is Kazuya and Jun's son. So he is Jin Kazama rather than Jin Mishima. He kind of hates his father. So in Tekken 3 when he was introduced, he was pretty much a replacement for Kazuya. So they just changed the model, left all the moves pretty much the same. And I wasn't a big fan of him. Didn't really like Jin. Always liked Kazuya more. And then in Tekken 4... which there's the Tekken we don't usually talk about, they changed him up a lot, and I really liked him in Tekken 4, it's just the rest of the game I had a problem with. So when Tekken 5 came out, and it was the same character, they changed him, by the way, because he hates his father so much, he unlearned his Mishima style and learned karate, which is very cool, I thought. So from Tekken 4 onwards, he plays his own way, and they brought Kazuya back and gave Kazuya his moves back. So in Tekken 5, when the PS3 first came out, there wasn't a lot of stuff on there, but what was on there was Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection. And I basically played that to death. And not so much Tekken 6 and then a bunch of Tekken Tag. So when First Figures put this up for order, you could get the Tekken 3 version, which had the black and orange pants, and the classic Luke, which I'm sure many, many people are familiar with. Tekken 3 was a huge, huge seller back in the day. But for me, Tekken 5 Jin was what it was all about. And I kind of wanted Tekken 5 Jin to go with my Tekken 5 King. So yeah, it's a bit on Tekken overall. Now, the Tekken line from First Figures. Oh, we're going to have to go over it a bit in a minute. Let's just go over what you get in the box. You get Jin in the base. He's only 2 pieces. Oh, 3 pieces actually. This tassely bit on the front of his pants is separate, just goes on with magnets. So as per usual, you get your authenticity card, which has got my code on, so you register that, and then you get the same number through the line. Now I ordered this on the day one, of course, it's Tekken. Well actually, it's day one now. Back when Jim went up for order, it was 0 hour. So, same as Saitama, he was a 0 hour. I think 0 hour was 12 hours. Now it's day one, so it's 24. And along with ordering day one, or 0 hour, I got a lovely card. Now, these are always signed by Alex, who owns First Figures. And he usually signs in silver. As you can see, this one's signed in gold and has 4 out of 4 on it. There are 4 cards in every run that he signs in gold. You go onto Facebook, go into the club, say to Alex, I've got a gold card, give me 1,000 reward points. He gives you 1,000 reward points, which is about $10. Very generous with their reward points, First Figures, I must say. Unless you're playing Who Dat, which we won't go into. Now, as with King, you also get a lovely art print. That's just the outside. Let's slide this baby out. It's a good sized art print. Very, well, it's basically the statue, but very nicely done. That would have been a cool thing to have the electricity on the glove, on the statue. We've got the First Figures logo, and this is the most tragic part of this tale. We haven't even gone to the statue yet, but let's go into this a little bit. There's my number, a 3 out of 100. Tragic, Alex, but that's a low number for a low run. But that's not how First Figures work, I'm afraid. You know, a low run at this point means that this statue is not sold very well, and therefore jeopardises the rest of the line. We'll go over the statue. I am totally struggling to get this back in its cardboard sleeve, and then we'll get into the future of the line at the end. Oh my god, go back into the sleeve. Thank you. Now I've got some notes here. So yeah, my Jin is 3 out of 100 for the Tekken 5 exclusive. As per usual, the exclusives, same as King. It's got a big ass base. The regulars have got black bases. So you had 2 regulars, Tekken 5 and Tekken 3. 2 exclusives, Tekken 5 and Tekken 3. Let's have a look. He was $450, but at that point when I ordered him, they were doing the discount code, so it was $25 off, so it's $425. Like I say, this is exclusive of 100. The Tekken 3 exclusive was 120, and then the regulars were $385 each at $250 each. 250 ES each. So what's that? 5, 6, 720. There's 720 of these guys, including regulars, in total, and only 220 exclusives, which is fucking mental. What have we got on here? Lots of other stuff. Now, this guy went up for order in November 30th, 2016 was the day I ordered, and he's just released to me at August 30th, 2018. So around 21 months, which isn't great. A lot of people give Potholes shock stick for 2 years, blah, blah, blah. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not even going to compare Fizz figures. Fizz figures are way above PCS when it comes to customer support and delivery times. But sometimes, you know, things don't go right and things drop back a bit. I do think that the suffering of the line overall has kind of delayed this guy a bit. But hey, he's here now. It's under 2 years, which in my mind is a complete bonus. Hopefully, well, I was going to say hopefully the rest of the line will, but we'll go into that in a minute. A lot of foreshadowing in this review. So let's talk about Jin. Straight off the bat, they've done a fantastic job on him. Fizz figures, they just don't let me down. As you can probably, if you've watched the King review, King was like my favourite statue of 2017. I had a lot of good statues in 2017, a lot of big statues, a lot of detailed statues, but King just did it for me. I thought that statue was spectacularly good. And I think Jin's very, very nice as well. Is it up to King's level? Probably not. But, you know, if King for me was a 10, then Jin is definitely a 9. A couple of little tiny things that I don't like, which we'll go into. But overall, as you can see, the body sculpt's really, really good. We'll get a bit closer for the detail because this has got the sweat on him and the vein details and stuff. The tattoos picked out perfectly. Now, a lot of people are moaning about the face. Let's just get in on the face a little bit. And drop. Now, it is a little soft around the face, I will say that. That's my main complaint, really, my minor complaint, I should say, is it's a little soft here and there, soft on the arms. There's a little bit of texture lacking, especially when you compare it to something like the PCS Zangief. The lips look a little soft. I mean, he looks right. You know, there's no mistaking it's Jin, especially like that. The angle's great on him. You know, looking through the hair. You know, and all the rest of the work, the sweat, the veins and that on the body. Look really, really good. Like I say, the face is, you know, actually really well done. A lot of people say Fizz figures can't do faces. You know, I don't really agree. Let's move on to the pants. Now the pants are really, really well detailed. A lot of the stitch marks, the textures. That's how it's centered, Alex. As you can see, it's got that leathery look on the black. Some really, really nice textures on him. Which was the same with King, which a lot of people didn't pick up, and you don't really see it unless you've got it in hand. And with all statues, it's, you know, it's nice to see a picture, it's nice to see a video, but unless you've got this thing in hand, you're only getting, you know, half the story. So the base is the Mishima Dojo. We've got Tekken 4 helmets here, which I think is a great nod to Tekken 3. and the Mishima Corporation, the Zaibatsu. We've got like broken bits of the dojo, like where the fencing was. We've got a big piece of like temple at the back here. Good textures, good paints, lots of different colours in there. Lots of rubble on the base. We come down to Jin's toes, which are very long. He's got very long toes, which is weird. But maybe he's got long toes in the game. I've never really noticed. And then around the bottom of the base, which we'll have to go low, low, low for, got this rather nice carving around the edge. And I love it when they do this on statues. There's a couple of Call to the Dead pieces which have got all this detail on the base. And the Face of Figures Guts piece has got the same sort of thing, like a tapestry. I do like it when they do stuff like this. It's simple, you know, it's painted up simple to, you know, to look like wood, which it definitely does. And it's just a fantastic pattern running all the way around the statue. Like I say, the regulars does come with just a plain black base, so if you're collecting a particular Street Fighter line from Pop Culture Shock, you can go black base, and they do match up very well. I've matched, if you go onto my King video, you can see King against a couple of Ultra Street Fighter statues, a mixed media statue. They do look good together. So yeah, great details all round. The base is very well realised, well executed. Like I say, the trousers, great textures. I just wish the face was a little bit more, maybe just a little bit more expression in it, or I don't know what they're going for, but it just looks a little soft. Just a little bit soft overall, but it's such a minor detail, you know. That's if you really only if you get really close. Like I'm sitting 2 feet away, and from this like angle, he just looks like Jin. He just looks badass, you know. So I'm super duper happy with him. Like I say, if King's a 10, this is a 9 for me. I don't really like giving it statues marks, but you know, I do lapse into it now and then. I've got no complaints. So let's talk about the future of the line. So Law is next up. Now I think Law went up for order last May 2017. He is not in production. He is not currently lined up to go into production. It's been a long time, and from what I spoke to Alex recently, that he's going to get on this now that Jin's in the wild. They're going to reopen the orders for Law. Law did worse than this. Now you got to think, look, this did 100 on this exclusive and 120 on the T3 exclusive. Now, Alex is looking for, you know, 1,000 exclusives is a good, you know, is a good statue. 500 plus, you know, is doable. 600 plus is great. So when Tekken's doing 100, you've got to, you know, the businessman inside you thinks, well, why am I going to produce this and not make any money, and, you know, for the few fans that want it. So apparently Law did like 60, which is unfathomable to me. Now I can understand it's a big ass base, and I do think Law needed a bit of work on him. He looked a little soft, although looking at videos again, I can see what they were going for. It's got a certain style to it, but again, I think he did look a little bit soft. And I think a lot more people were more impressed with the base than the character, and I think that's when the base is overtaking the character too much, it becomes a bit of a problem. So Law is going back up for order soon. So if you have picked up King recently, and then you've seen this review or anyone else's review or pictures, and you thought, hey, I'm going to get Jin, Law would be great too. Join the First Figures Club, and when the poll goes up or the order goes up, reorder Law or order him for the first time, because he needs the support. And at this point, it looks like Tekken could be on its way out. If Law doesn't get made, so you can say goodbye, because, you know, when King was launched, they were teasing Paul, Nina, Yoshimitsu. Yoshimitsu apparently was done. Yoshimitsu was supposed to have launched like last year or earlier this year in January. and because of poor sales, he hasn't launched. That's the way it is. So if you want to see more Tekken statues, you've got to buy them. That's the bottom line, and that's how Face Figures work. You know, you're not buying the statues for low numbers for exclusivity. You're buying them because you want those characters, and you know, and that should be the only reason you're buying them, really. So, yes, the line is in danger. If I only get King and Jin, so be it. I got King. It's my favourite Tekken character. You know, and Jin's a fantastic complementary piece to King. Now, not to derail this review from Face Figures, but there's another company called Prime One. They're doing Tekken statues, and they kind of fit in with what Face Figures are doing. Big diorama bases and pretty actiony, dynamic-y poses, museum poses, and they have done the robot girl, who I hate. Is it Elisa? I can't remember. Don't even know her fucking name because I hate it. That's the first piece they've done. If they do other pieces, you know, I just hope that they don't cross over with what Face Figures have already done. But if I can get other Tekken statues, I'll take them. Honestly, at this point, all my eggs are in Face Figures basket. You know, I'm not even thinking of Prime One at this point, but, you know, if Law doesn't make it, we've got to look elsewhere. But from what I've seen, I don't think the Prime One piece is even sold well. I guess people don't want Tekken statues. Maybe they want Negan statues, eh? Put Negan in Tekken, make a statue of him, fuck's sake. Yes, but Jin, I'm very, very happy with. A lot of statue for the money, with, as usual, Face Figures. And, yeah, I'm really, really happy with him. As all my Face Figures pieces I'm happy with. So, Face Figures wise, what have we got next? Taki's coming next. So that's the second Soul Calibur piece. There's not another Soul Calibur piece up for order yet. Ivy has been teased. I'm not the biggest Ivy fan. There's a couple of things I like about Ivy, as I'm sure many of us do. But we'll see on the sculpt on that one and how it all works out. If she's as curvaceous as Taki, then I might buy it. I'd love to buy it. But I really want Mitsurugi. I really do. He's my favourite Soul Calibur character. And with 6 coming out, I think if they didn't make Mitsurugi, they showed a render of Mitsurugi so long ago. I so want Mitsurugi. So Taki should be next. She's shipped. I've seen pictures of her online. She looks brilliant. I think mine's shipping in September, so next few weeks. Solaire is also coming for Face Figures. These are my orders, by the way. Solaire EX. I didn't go for the Jolly Cooperation or the Praise the Sun edition. I just went for the EX. They've done a few bits on him on the base to make sure he doesn't lead, which is brilliant. So that'll be the next Dark Souls piece. Law exclusive. Yeah, he's on order. Don't know what's happening. Guts exclusive should be next year. I cannot wait for that piece. That is going to be a big fuck you to people who just look at Face Figures and go, eh. If Guts comes out as good as it looks on these protos, Face Figures are winning a Mavic. Same with Ornstein. Ornstein is a fucking showcase piece, as Artorias has been. You know, I think a lot of people are like, Face Figures, but Artorias is fucking awesome. And Ornstein is going to be that same thing, so he's due next year as well. And then Alucard and Snake I have on preliminary pre-order, which means they are to be bought, but I haven't pre-ordered them. I don't know why. Snake, I'm a bit on. Alucard I should have fucking ordered. I don't know why I haven't, but I think the only thing with Alucard was I didn't like the exclusives. So I figured back burner, pick up the regular, because I like the Alucard sword the most. So that's probably what will happen there. Although with Alucard, they are putting out another version, a Twilight Cloak version, so hey, maybe I'll hang around with that. But that's my Face Figures list. We've got Mimic coming up as well for Dark Souls, which is, that one's up in the air. That's all on the exclusive and the pricing. So we'll wait and see on that. I don't think there's much else coming up. We'll see. They're always full of surprises, and that's the best thing. A lot more reservations coming up, a lot more pre-orders. Psycho Mantis went up, which I'm not a big Psycho Mantis fan, but man, they fucking knocked that out of the park again. It's another piece I'd pick up as a reg, because I wasn't excited about the exclusive, but as a regular statue, it looks great. So, yes, all in all, Face Figures, we do it. So I'm going to pause, guys. I'm going to throw Jin over onto the bestie with King, Nightmare, and Geef, just to give you a size comparison, etc. So 2 seconds, I'll pause and we'll be right back. So here we go, guys. Here's Jin. There's King next to him. We've got the big Geef there. As you can see, Jin and King are just perfect. We've also got Nightmare there. First figure's smashing it. I mean, look at them three. Just awesome. And as you can see, Jin's base is a lot larger than King's. But King is slightly high. Which I like King being slightly high because King should be a bit bigger. He is a bigger character. He is actually a bigger sculpt. But yeah, they look great together. This isn't how I'm going to display them. This is just to give you guys an idea of how they look. You know, I'm hoping and praying that Nightmare, the next time I show this lineup, it'll be King, Jin, and Law. We'll see. But obviously I will bring Nightmare back for when we do the Tekken comparison. So there you go, guys. There's Jin. Very happy. Very happy indeed. And hopefully this won't be my last Tekken review. I really hope it isn't. Okay, guys. That is such a somber note, but no, Jin's fantastic. If you want to support the line, get on the Collectors Club on Facebook. Show your support for Law. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.